Well, hello everyone in the NPM community. My name is Craig Colson. I'm with World Library Publications, GIA Publications. We're here today because obviously we find ourselves in this very strange kind of time in our world when a lot of people are afraid and scared, and there's this virus going around. And so first of all, we just want to offer our prayers to those people who are suffering with the virus, those first responders, and just pray for peace in our world and an end to this time that's going on. But in the church, we find ourselves in this kind of strange time where we've been, had masses suspended, and this is something just unprecedented. I can't ever remember in my lifetime, which even in the history of the church, where we've even had a time where masses have been suspended. And so one of the great opportunities we have in light of this situation is to be able to reach out to people via social media, via the internet, and those other live streaming capabilities. So we want to talk to you today a little bit about how we're live streaming here. And this is my parish of St. Francis Xavier in Phoenix, Arizona. And I'm standing with a good friend, Mr. Mark Matson, who is a great sound engineer. And we're going to greet each other with there we go. He's a great sound engineer and has done a lot of live streaming. So Mark, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, well, I've been involved in live streaming since 2006 started working with Cirque du Soleil in 2006 to broadcast the first presentation of Ka to people in Canada who could not come to be there for the ceremony. Following that, I've worked in streaming situations with for gaming companies, Xbox, Microsoft, Procter & Gamble. We had an online game that reached over 1.5 million people simultaneously.
So you know what you're doing.
A little bit. So I've been involved in it, usually from an audio perspective or from the perspective of the guy switching cameras. But along the way, I picked up a few tips. And one of the things is how to put together a pretty powerful system for not a lot of money, and fairly simple. Now with the tools today, you can put it together and operate it fairly easily as well. So you don't need to go to school.
Yeah, and that's one of the points of this video. We want to show you what we've set up, what Mark has set up here the last few hours. We've had a sound engineer here at the parish and Mark as well, and they've been setting up a live stream system that's down in the church here, and we're going to show you that system. And that would be if you have somebody at your parish or maybe somebody you know who does this kind of thing like Mark does for a living, right, and maybe you want to bring that person in and do that sort of thing to live stream your masses. I just think it's so important in this time that people hear from their pastor, be able to experience their place of worship, and being that they're home and still stay connected that way. So we also want to give you I'm going to ask Mark to kind of elaborate on this. There's so many choices now. If we want to live stream our masses or evening prayer or whatever it might be, do we want to use Facebook? Do we want to use YouTube? Do we do it through Google? Are there 700 other platforms out there? And I think it just gets really, really confusing. I've also had a couple text messages today like, I saw your live streaming. What are you using? So for someone simple, you can take your phone, put it on a tripod. There's all kinds of different things. So, they offer.
This was $7 on Amazon.
Right.
And you just mount your phone on it.
Right.
And you're in business.
Right.
Yeah.
And so some of those things work great, and you might say, well, if you can do that with your phone, why would you set up this other, setup we're going to show you? And it's really just, it has to do a lot with the quality.
Right.
And especially the sound is what I've noticed in some live streams, right? You want to talk a little bit about that?
It's a little more difficult to route the audio from your mixer that you would normally use for a mass to broadcast it through your phone. So you'd need a separate interface, you'd need to run through a few different devices to get that sound quality to be what you're used to hearing on television or on YouTube.
Right.
So what we're trying to do is, make that happen on a very small budget. And it can be done you can get, I believe it's called an iRig, that you can connect to an iPhone, and you can plug the output of your mixer right into it, and it'll give you the same quality of audio that you're used to hearing, in your parish or through YouTube. And sounds like TV, sounds great.
Great. So there's some simple ways you can do it with a phone and what Mark's saying and that kind of thing. And then, some other things you want to be, I think, aware of when we're doing this is, have everything kind of set beforehand, get all your details together. Do all your testing and that kind of thing, and test everything out so that when we're ready to go live, everything is ready to go. We hit live and, we've let people know that we're going to stream our Mass at 10 a.m. or whatever it is.
Right.
And we're all ready to go. We've got all those details. We've checked the microphones. We've talked about, where Father's going to walk in. On Sunday, we're not going to have a formal procession because we have no servers, nobody carrying the cross.
Right.
We're just going to walk in from behind the altar. So some details like that, written out and together. And
hopefully it's going to look good.
Yeah, exactly.
The other thing is, if you're going to use YouTube, you need to make your account liveable, I guess, 24 hours in advance, which would hit me by surprise because I did it so long ago, I forgot you need to do that. So
we went to set up our parish account today, and we've never live streamed before, and so it's going to take 24 hours to go through. So you might want to get on that sooner than later.
Yes.
And how do you do that on YouTube?
When you go to YouTube, if you just navigate to the add video page, a small drop down will come down and you can either upload a video or go live. When you press go live, it'll take you to a page that says, hold it, you got to wait 24 hours.
In just a minute, we're going to come down to the church and we'll show you Mark's setup, which again is a more intricate setup. He's got some video switchers.
It's a little more intricate. I mean, back in 2006, it would have taken 2 racks this tall to do what I'm doing with a device the size of a sandwich.
Yeah.
So a lot has happened, and it's amazing, and it's gotten a lot easier too.
Sure. So we'll take you down there. We'll show you how to do, or at least how Mark's done it. And again, there's lots of different ways, but we'll show you what we're going to do, and then we've given you some advice about how to do it on a smaller level with a budget. A good tripod.
Right.
Making sure it's not squeaking when you're moving around.
And actually, I just thought of this. Is the camera that we're talking into right now is a GoPro Hero 8. It has a media mod kit, so it has a little shotgun mic on it, so it sounds better than a normal, action camera might. But it also has Wi-Fi, and all the new action cameras have Wi-Fi, and they actually have a page right in there, so you can broadcast directly to Facebook from your action camera. You might even have a GoPro that you use for skiing that would be perfect for this, and they usually have audio inputs and things like that, so you can take a feed from your mixer as well.
Sure. And one of the things you were sharing with me when we talked about this the other day was the importance of having an Ethernet internet connection, right?
Yeah.
Not always trusting Wi-Fi.
Right. Wi-Fi, you're going to lose the quality, generally speaking, at certain points within the stream, whereas if you have a hardwired Ethernet connection, it's going to be a solid connection that you can count on. So
great.
Yeah.
Great. Well, let's go check out your setup.
You got it.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Okay. So starting from the cameras, we're using 2 brand new GoPro Hero 8 Black with media mods, which is way more camera than you need. And this is a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. Over here is another GoPro with a media mod, and that's just to get the HDMI output. Any little camera with an HDMI output will work as long as it transmits 1080p. So we're sending the HDMI out, in this case, because we have a long run, down to this box, the AV Pro, that converts it to Cat 5. And then we run that back to the little receiver box that converts it back to HDMI and sends it back into the star of the show, our Blackmagic A10 Mini. Now this little guy is really the key to the whole thing. Virtually everything else is simple and could be replaced with any other version of whatever, but this is the guy that not only takes our inputs in and allows us to switch between cameras, as you can see here, and we also have a laptop with lyrics on the 4th input, and it allows us to show lyrics while songs are playing and whatnot. So there you go. But this guy is also the guy that creates our stream. It has the hardware in it to make an H.264 stream that goes straight into YouTube through an application called OBS. That's Open Broadcast something. Open Broadcast Studio.
So this little application, which is free, allows you to take the input out of your switcher and transmit it to virtually any kind of online service, from Twitch to YouTube to Facebook to Twitter, whatever you want to do. So all you have to do is create a profile of your video capture device and then create a stream key from YouTube. So if you go to a YouTube page and you go, okay, I'm going to go live, after 24 hours, you'll go to this page and we're going to create a new stream. Or say test, unlisted for now. No, it's not for kids. That doesn't mean there's an age restriction on it. That just means it's not like a children's TV show. We'll go nonprofits and activation. So once we create a stream from within inside, in this case YouTube, it's going to provide us with what's called a stream key right here. We copy that and we paste that into OBS, and then OBS will be talking directly to YouTube for us. And there are a million videos online that step through this a lot slower, but that's the basic gist of it. So then we just take a feed from our cameras, a feed from our audio device, and that all gets mixed in and sent up to the interwebs through this OBS software. And it even has the ability to play videos from within the OBS software, so you can actually put splash screens and whatnot at the beginning of your video.
And Mark, for this, we're taking a feed from our mixer in the church and we're going out into this live stream.
Correct. So out of the audio mixer that you would normally use in a regular mass, we send that right into the switcher. So rather than using the camera audio, you'll see all the camera audios are turned off. Only the audio from this 1/8 inch input on the back is feeding our stream.
And then we're able to flatten all the EQs, because that's going to be a lot different than our church building. So we're just flattening out the EQs,
Right.
checking the levels, making sure all those are set. So like for instance, this Sunday, I'll be singing, we'll have a cantor, just the piano and a cantor. So we check those levels, change the EQs, flatten them out. So they're going to be a little different than in the church because we're going straight into this system, correct?
Correct.
Perfect.
It's raining a little bit, so if you hear some percussion in the back, that's the rain leaking
drip
through
dropping.
the dome.
If you'd like to
Send $1
donate.
million and we can take that out.
The drip dropping.